Tyson and the EXPR. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for February 7th, 2022. Just want to start off. Thanks for everyone that attended the open house today. We are doing open house all week. There's a link in the description for you to check it out. So if you'd like to see these plays get called in real time, go through the process of why they're called, why they were managed the way they are, this is your opportunity to do so. Okay, so check that out if you're interested, if you're available this week for it, and should be a pretty good week, I think. Okay, all right, so Qs down 0.8, SPY down 0.3. The more important thing is that we have an inside day, okay, on the Qs and SPY. So what does the inside day signal? What does it tell us? Really, it doesn't tell us much. It really just tells us whatever we had going into today remains true. There's nothing about today's bar that does anything, right? So we didn't get an hourly that started an uptrend. This is not an uptrend on the hourly, okay? Which would what would have to happen likely first before we fail on the sell setup on the daily. So before the daily goes into an uptrend, the hourly is going to have to end its downtrend and go into an uptrend. All right. So without that, without any change, then we just stay bearish going into tomorrow. In fact, we have a sell setup here. So if this had triggered this morning, come in, and then we rallied and took out Friday's high, then I would say, okay, you know, we had an inside day or whatever. We haven't failed in sell setup, but the hourly has started to change trends and we have a little bit more conflict going on. But we don't have that. In fact, we just have the more alignment of the bearish bias. Okay, so nothing here to change the current bearish bias going into tomorrow. Okay, hourly sell setup in place. We'll watch the hourly, and that'll give us a clue ahead of time before the daily sell setup actually fails. Okay. All right, let's go into the plays from today. 2 plays from Sammy on the Tyson because very nice gap, gapping over resistance from a wide range red bar there. 2 plays. 1 play this morning off of the reversal, tried to make a new low and then reversed on to new highs, and then again in the afternoon off of the base breakout. So 2 nice plays, and a lot of that just coming from the gap. Very nice gap. And very nice plays. Okay. Now, like these patterns, you're going to find plenty of them. Okay. A base like this is not necessarily the most exceptional base. Okay. But because of the gap, the base is signaling to you, okay, this is your way into this gap. Okay. These are the way that you should size, where you should put your stop if this ends up not following through on the gap, right? So the pattern is outlining kind of when you get in and when you get out if it's not working, how you should size it, because that's going to be based on the size of the stop and your R unit. Okay, so really, really nice on the Tyson. Yeah, and then the EXPR. Now the EXPR was my play in the morning. Not as good of a daily. Why is this not as good of a gap? Because the gap is small. And you're coming from a green bar already, meaning there are people probably already in it long. They might be trying to sell to us as we get into the play. But overall, I like the bullishness of the daily. And then the other thing on top of it was that it was showing a lot of relative strength. So right here in the first 10 minutes, I'm not in it yet. I wasn't even aware that I should be watching the XPR. First 10 minutes runs up like that, right? What did the SPY do for the first 10 minutes? Okay. So the SPY, what did it do for the first 10 minutes? Right, got sold, was at the lows for the first 10 minutes, and then eventually popped. Okay, now when this popped, right, that's probably a good sign that if you have something basing at the highs, it's probably going to continue. Okay, unless it were some direct inverse to the market or some sector that was, you know, some kind of risk off sector. Most likely everything else though is going to If it's already bullish, it's going to be even more bullish when the market starts to pop. I tell people this in coaching all the time. If you're going to play something that is not that good of a gap, not that good of a daily chart, which this daily chart's decent. The gap's not that good. The gap's not great at all. Then the intraday pattern better be perfect. Okay? And for what I look for in bases, this is perfect. Okay? This to me is perfect. Very tight base. We only had a 6-cent range here. So when it triggered, we had an 8-cent stop because I'm getting in 1 cent above and putting 1 cent below. 6-cent range. Now I get it's a $3 stock, but not every $3 stock is going to act this way, right? I use this as an example for something that you don't want to trade. This NES, okay? Right? Stuff like this. This is a $2 stock. It looks even way, way worse. So just because it's low price doesn't mean it's going to be well behaved. Okay, so EXPR, tight base, 20 MA curling up underneath, and then we get the breakout, okay? So we quickly took some on the initial break. And the reason is, even though I had my sights on 390 as a first target, was because of the volume. Okay, volume picked up, and then we got an inside bar. So we took some on the initial pop and then trailed the rest. It just happened to be break even. Okay, so this didn't end up being a big play at all. And the management is fine. It actually would have come out down and taken out the base. I think the way that we could have done better on the EXPR was to replay it. But honestly, the replay entries, I don't love them either. I think the entry, the initial breakout in the morning, was the most textbook picture perfect play. It just didn't follow through the best, okay? But there were others. After the pullback, it transitions back into an uptrend. That retests the highs there. I think it makes a new high by a little bit. Another deep pullback here, and then transitions back up again. So, this one I'm fine with. I know there was more opportunity to do better on it, and, we did not get a whole lot out of the first play, but this one, doesn't really bother me at all. I think, we made a little bit on it. I didn't do anything that was, blatantly against my plan. And the setup I thought was really nice, worth playing. A lot of features here to this base that look good. Notice how the volume drops off inside the base right before it breaks out. That's good. That's what you want to see. Volume starts to, almost like the interest starts to wane right before you get the move, right? So this was fine. I mean, this we didn't even have, and it's not much of a gap. So that kind of tells you too, like what was available out there. If I had other things, like if SWK, ZBH, or CRNC, some of these other ones were acting, giving good setups at the open, then I would definitely be in those. I probably wouldn't really go to the EXPR. See what this was doing? Right, no entry really, just sloppiness, green, red, green, red, green, and then rallies back up to the high of the day, and then what did it do? Close at the bottom, right? So this gap I would be looking for lower, but at the beginning it was saying, oh, I'm moving up, I'm really sloppy, that kind of thing. So had to stay away. Okay, so that's fine. The other ones I was mentioning, CRNC gap was a little bit too big. It was very spready. You can see this didn't really go anywhere, especially in relation to the gap. And then SWK. Look at it, this didn't go anywhere either. So, that kind of tells you why. I'm going for something. I know the gap's not good, but the entry is perfect. I would rather go for something with a really good gap. So, but we'll get that. I think we'll get that this week. Last Thursday and Friday, I noticed things really started to pick up. A lot more gaps and a lot more plays. Okay? So, hopefully that continues today, Monday, often, just a little bit slower. Okay? But overall, I mean, if you took the plays today, should have made some money, okay, on the Tyson, especially. All right, guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the open house if you're attending, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.